Hello, my name is Keyte, and I'm just making a short video about my views on Brexit. This is part three for those who've been following them. I'm just going to talk roughly about what is behind this media clampdown on causing Remain to happen. This media and political and everything else. There's something behind it, and I'm going to explain roughly what my view is about what is causing this divisive issue in our country when it's quite clear democratically it was voted for. We should be putting Brexit in place. Now, why isn't it happening? You know, there are machinations in place. There are shadowy elites and shadowy governments behind the political classes that are causing this to happen. So I'm going to talk about some of them and talk about what my views are about some of them and why we should not respect the current political climate behind the scenes. We should not expect these shadowy people who control the world with money working behind the scenes. They have no right to do it. Most of them are working illegally. They're a highly intelligent group of individuals who get together to organize the world the way they want to see it, in this neo-communist way, to enslave us all in debt and control us through the financial system. So let me just talk about what my views are and how I got there when I was writing this, because basically I'm talking about Brexit, but I'm saying what's causing all this division and what's behind the fact that we still haven't come to a conclusion of getting a clean break back to Brexit, which is clearly what the public voted for. They didn't vote whether to get a deal or no deal or anything like that. They voted in or out of Europe, and it should have been put in place last March. It should be put in place on October the 31st, but I very much doubt it will be. And we're still going through this process of shenanigans going on with John Bercow now meeting with the head of the European Parliament, talking behind our backs and trying to organise things about preventing a clean break Brexit. So let's talk about my views and my view on what I think is going on and causing this to happen and where it all comes from. So what people fear most is the transition from being part of the European Union to being a separate entity. And instead of doing the proper research to see how the clean break Brexit will benefit this country, they are listening to Project Fear from the mouths of lying politicians and a heavily subsidised arm of the European Union, the BBC, or other such channels who receive the same entitlements. What we also get a truckload of is an unelected barrage in the House of Lords, quietly scaremongering amongst themselves, doing their utmost to prevent Brexit. Reason why? They are all heavily salaried by the European Union, and despite a few good men and women amongst them, the majority are causing division between both sides and derision in what we have democratically voted for. Move into the House of Commons and we have a network of opposition MPs united by one thing: we must remain, despite what a large proportion of their constituents voted for. This liberal elite is a global phenomenon that has long since become a contagious disease spreading to every corner of the political elites. Indeed, look at how the unruly liberal protest movement against Trump becoming president of the United States turned into a takeover of the Senate, and now Trump is considerably weakened by Nancy Pelosi breathing down his neck every single day. These protest groups have one common denominator: aided and abetted by certain political deadbeats. But if we look at Extinction Rebellion and Black Lives Matter, just two of the groups in question, we can see how global communism, using anarchy as a tool to drive fear into the hearts of patriots and make them apathetic, has been almost exclusively funded by George Soros and the Clinton Foundation. This unholy alliance have stubbornly refused to accept a countrywide mandate to elect Donald Trump, and it is clear that as the 31st of October looms, that Soros is also one of the figures behind the movement to disrupt Brexit. Let me get this clear: Soros, whose infamous involvement again alongside the Clinton Foundation in Haiti after the earthquake, used charity to give funds to the communist-leaning government in the form of aid, which never got to the disaster areas. Soros was a Hungarian Jew who was just a child when he was put up for adoption to a German family during World War II. He was infamously reputed to have returned to his original family as a teenager in order to repossess their house for the Nazis. And that, it just makes me sick. This man has absolutely no morals, but vast amounts of money, which he made through tricking banks into phony investments and causing several stock market crashes around the world. That is the reason he is a public enemy in Russia. And if there ever is a stock market crash, you can guarantee that he will always do quite well out of it. This is why he absolutely hates the idea of Brexit and Trump. It's bad for business. It's illegal business of usury and other such disreputable crimes. Soros, however, is not a sole actor in the illegal movement of money around the world. The Rothschilds, Rockefellers, now working with Warren Buffett and a few unsavory names, have employed the method of usury for centuries. This, inverted commas, new world order came to its full powers under Barack Obama, a puppet president who would have done anything to look like the big boys of this clandestine, shadowy government that controls the general public, in brackets, its debt slaves, through money. And some say that between the collective, these 1% own at least 3/4 of the world's wealth. The only way to stop these Nicolaitans is by backing alternative movements that are not relying on printing more money and trading in debt for their wealth. I genuinely recommend you look up the BRICS Plus movement, which has its own bank and operates separately from the usurer's central bank and various machinations thereof. It is a multipolar world order that deals with each country individually, not from an office at the Federal Reserve, and has its ethical issues and political harmony between its members at heart. Unlike the Federal Reserve, financially they are backing their finances more and more with gold, and their intent is on bringing more harmony to the planet through unity between its members. When Brexit happens and we leave the European Union with no strings attached, I strongly recommend that we join this movement. After all, unity and respecting our diversity is a great recipe for a healthy future. I hope you enjoyed hearing some of that. I hope it didn't shock too many of you. But that, I believe, is the background and the reason why we are having so much trouble getting Brexit in operation. And not only do these shadowy figures own the banks, they also own the media. That's clear. You can see that with Trump's fight against the media. It's all one-sided against him. Same thing in our country. There aren't many media channels, television channels, that aren't controlled by the New World Order, by these shadowy elites behind the political scenes. But I hope you like the idea of the solution to this existing world order that is so heavily biased from one viewpoint across the whole world, and that the BRICS Plus movement offers a great solution to dividing the world up and respecting separate autonomy to individual countries. At the same time, having a more ethical policy on the way we deal with global issues, and a more unifying approach through respecting our diversity. I hope I haven't taken up too much of your time. Look forward to seeing you soon, all of you who have followed this video. Please like and share, and speak to you soon. Bye.